I just want to, before we start, I want to re-emphasize what Kamal was talking about. So the innovation committee that we created a few weeks ago is following what we discussed before about community and being a community is working together. So please, any crazy idea that you have, there's no bad idea, any criticism, any changes that you want to make, anything that you think will make Open19 better, or new projects which needs to go into the foundation and actually enjoy the community, etc., needs to be brought in. So feel free to throw into this innovation at open19.org email list anything that you think can actually be valuable and start working for that. So I want to welcome the esteemed members over here. And we're going to do a very light discussion just to share some experiences of what happened with Open19 and how Open19 started. So I'll start with a general question for everybody. And a question which is more generic. Tell us a little bit about the experience that you had for Open19 from the beginning to where you are right now.
The gentleman, oh,
It's on? Yeah.
hello? Okay. I guess I'll start first. I'm Dolly from Inspur. So when Yuval first approached us, say, hey, Inspur, how can you come up with an Open19 server solution for us very quickly? And so we quickly took a look at the product portfolio that we have from ODCC, OCP, and standard servers. And the biggest demand was for compute. And we just innovated a OCP accepted motherboard and contributed. And we thought, okay, let's just use a common building block, the OCP motherboard, and put it into the Open19 form factor. And very quickly, within 2 weeks, we came up with a sample for LinkedIn. And then it was very quickly demoed at the CIBIT the convention. And that's how it all began. And things have gone really well so far. The compute node's already in production. And then we did the same thing with the storage node. And we were building a storage server with a conventional 19-inch rack mount form factor, and we took that motherboard and put it into the existing, into the Open19 form factor, and we came up with a sample very quickly as well. So I think that having the building blocks already there and using mass volume products and porting those into Open19 is the right way to go. So that way we can leverage the economies of scale from existing production products for Open19, so we can come up with products very reliably, very quickly, and go into volume production very quickly.
I guarantee that that was true. That they get us the server the fastest I've ever seen in my life. From the moment we said go, it was like something in between 4 and 6 weeks until we got the first samples. That was incredible.
So I'm on the opposite side. By the way, Dolly, you're welcome that you had form factors to fit into that we designed. We actually started 3 years ago at Yuval, and Yuval came with one napkin and a drawing. And I actually have a picture of the drawing on the whiteboard in his office. And that's how it started. We call it sketch to scale. So we went on design cycle, and all of you know me, I'm not an engineer, I'm a sales guy. So I participate in all the design reviews from the beginning, and got my head spinning probably within the first 3 hours of listening to it, and you've all given guideline in every possible direction, and how every single possible motherboard on the market should fit into this design. So we lived it from the beginning, and I'm actually very happy to see the fruits of our labor and see adoption, and actually be the one selling it too. So it's not just a PowerPoint, it's not just a demo rack in a hallway. It's actually customers buying it and actually paying for it. So it's a good road to be on.
Very good. This is Nelson. I'm I'm from ASUS, and then we formed this team of enterprise solutions business just this past few months in January of this year. And then when the team was formed, one of the very first kind of unique designs that we came out was what my colleague Salim presented earlier this morning, which is a composable disaggregate infrastructure. And then one of the key design ideas of this architecture was to remove the common repetitive components in individual discrete servers like the power supplies and stuff like that, and then move in a consolidated shared what's called fashion, right? And then so we did that design, and then very quickly we found out that our design approach is very similar to the design concepts out of. Hello, I'm sorry. And then so obviously we wanted to validate our ideas with several industry experts, and then Yuval was very kind to give us some time and then listen to what we had to present. And then we got a strong encouragement from Yuval, and then that was probably a beginning of February, and then today we're here with our first Open19 product, and we feel very happy about it. We feel extremely encouraged. And then also on the other side, ASUS business model is not what's called necessarily going after the hyperscalers, and then we believe the business model and the approach of Open19 is for the mass, and then that perfectly matches with our business model as well.
Okay. So 2019 is the year of adoption, and where it's adoption, which means that the technology first gen is actually mature. We're going to production. So, Adam, how many customers are you going to bring in 2019? 19? Okay. Do we have it on video, right? Dolly, what about you? How many customers are you going to bring with Open19 this year?
Not 19, but we are trying to do 5.
5? Okay, 5 is good. We'll check it out for next year.
Yeah. So again, as I said, Yuval, ASUS is going after the mass, so we're looking at thousands of customers. So
Thousands of customers.
Yeah, we should be happy about it.
Okay.
Let me explain my 5, because 5 seems like a very small number, but Inspur is actually focused only on very large-scale customers. Currently, we are focused on hyperscale as well as tier 2 and tier 3 customers that buy at least 5 to 10,000 servers annually. So for us, 5 is a huge number.
Okay, awesome. Adam, can you give us a more accurate answer than 19?
Well, 5 I already have today, so I guess I have to go beyond that, Dolly.
Okay, so we have 5 from Inspur and thousands for ASUS and something between 5 and 10 from Flex. We have this on writing. Next year we're going to check it out. For everyone you miss, you're going to give us a gift. For everyone you win, we'll give you a gift. That's a deal? It's a deal. Okay. All right, get a little serious. So when you're going to your customers and you're trying to sell this, how do you actually show the differentiation of Open19 compared to the rest of the technologies out there? There are a lot of types of servers out there. A lot of technologies, some of them are specific to a specific supplier, some of them are white box. How do you actually come to customers and say, you know what, you should look at this technology in cases that they don't come to you, right? Hopefully they're coming more to you than you come to them. But when you come to them, how do you actually talk about differentiating Open19 compared to the other technologies? Let's start with that.
I'll take this one since I sold already. Well, it's actually not that difficult to sell. It's more of what the customer needs. And I guess I'll probably do verification what the customer wants to do, and are they at the edge, or they're going to the edge, or they're going to standard data center, or they're in the hosted space somewhere. So that's kind of qualifies for me if they are the candidate for Open19, because Open19 is not for everyone, but its adoption is growing. So if someone says I want to be at the edge and I don't have any smart hands to deploy it, I need it to be easy. Open19 is always comes out as first for me. Also, if someone looking for high density, Open19 will be it. You know, you can do 96 servers in a rack, so it's fairly dense. So those are the criteria I will be asking, and I invite them to come to our lab and test it on over VPN and try it out themselves.
I will have to disagree a little bit with Adam. I think Open19 is for everyone. It's for, well, they can buy it from our partners, although Inspur may not sell just 5 to a customer, but we have partners that they can buy 5 from if they so wish. That's why in my earlier presentation, I talk about disaggregation. So when you buy a Open19 cage, you don't have to fill it up first. You can fill it with 5 servers first, and as you upgrade, because it's kind of like a Lego block approach, you can just buy more storage or buy more compute and very easily just plug them in. And it's a plug and play kind of style. And so it's very, very good for the edge. You saw the presentation from Brian earlier with the challenging environments at the edge, how difficult it is to bring things up using standard form factors. So there's so much edge applications out there right now. I think Open19 is probably best for that, as the other hyperscale elements are too difficult to bring into the edge, if not impossible, like OCP and ODCC, because those require a specific type of power. You need to have a 60 amp fit to OCP or 50 amp fit to ODCC. It's just not possible to have something like that at the edge. So only hyperscale can deploy those kinds of form factors, and for conventional form factors are impossible because of the cabling issues. So I think Open19 definitely is the right one. And yeah.
Very good. Yeah, so from our perspective, so again, so, when we had this ASUS Cloud Infra disaggregate composable infrastructure design, so one of our strong belief is that there's the data center infrastructure environment is getting very diverse, and especially if we tap into a different workload. So for example, we were known that today we've got data center of with 410 three-phase DC AC input. There's 270 AC input. There's minus 48 DC input. There's also 400 DC input. So there's so many different what's it called setups. And then so we believe that one idea of making it easier is to remove the power supply from individual servers. And then so that's one of our designs, and that matches with some of the design guidelines at Open19. So I believe that's one of the biggest differentiators. So we're able to make the hardware more disaggregable, and then so it's more composable, right? So this is the biggest differentiator versus the today's individual rack mount servers. And then compared to other open hardware design initiatives, I believe the Open19, because it's based on the standard EIA 19-inch rack, so it's definitely more friendly. It's definitely more adaptable in many collocations. That's why it opens up a lot of opportunities in many working scenarios. So that's what I believe. So
I just thought of something. So a lot of the customers that we work with, they don't want vendor lock-in. So I don't want to buy servers just from Inspur. I don't want to buy servers just from Supermicro or Dell or HP. I want to have different types of servers mixed into the same rack. So the Open19 form factor is currently, I think, the only one that allows a customer to choose what they want and fit it into the same infrastructure. I think that is one great selling point.
Okay, so Dolly, I have a very direct question for you. How and when we convert ODCC/Scorpio into Open19?
Well, that's a very tough question, because that would really have to be asked to our customers. And but Inspur is working very hard to also help promote Open19, and we are currently the lead vendor for Open19. So we're introducing the Open19 concepts to our customers, and hopefully, actually some of our customers have already shown interest, and yeah, so we will continue promoting the Open19 concepts.
Any chance we do it in 2019? Scorpio,
Yes,
Scorpio
definitely.
19, we call
Yeah.
it?
We will definitely try.
Okay. My next question is a little bit forward-looking. So, if there is one or two features that you would like to see in the build-out of the new generation of Open19 when the new generation comes in, what would it be? And what is the feedback you hear from your customers that we're missing right now?
Yeah, so there were several features that were missing, and luckily they actually are no longer missing. So it's a good story to tell. So number one was power limitations on the brick side. So we're limited to a single socket processor. Now we're adding more power and more robust power shelf and cables and so on. So that's being solved. Also, many customers don't want to buy a complete solution with a switch in it. They want to use their own switch. So now you can see cables there, actually. Yeah, so you can bring whatever switch you want, or whichever OS you want to support there, and you can deploy it quicker and easier, and that's definitely helping us, and it will help everybody to adopt, so it's definitely going to speed it up.
For me, what's missing in Open19 that customers are asking for is GPU solutions. So we've had customers asking, GPU, AI solutions are the fastest growing demand in our infrastructure. And currently in Open19, we see only compute and storage, which is a bulk of what we are currently shipping. It's compute and storage. As far as GPU solutions, if you attended my session earlier, we are working on GPU solutions for AI. And we are talking to customers to see which application sets and workloads are the most needed right now, and to figure out whether we should come up with the AI solution for inference first or for training first. And that really depends on the volume. So we're going to put our eggs into the basket with the biggest volume. And we should be able to figure out what the biggest demand or workload is in the next month or two, and then our R&D engineers are going to start pushing that design out to market very quickly.
Very good. I think the three of us as vendors, we complement each other, power, GPU, and then I will volunteer for the JBOD because storage is definitely, yeah, that's good. However, if we look at, one of the critical areas that Open19 is the most suitable for is the edge, right? And then when we're talking about edge, then we cannot forget about 5G, and then if we're talking about 5G, we cannot forget about telcos. So we have actually presented the ASUS, what's called Open19 infrastructure idea to several telcos. I can say we specifically presented to 4 telcos, 2 in Europe and 2 here in the States. And then so we're trying to find a common interest for Open19 into the regional data centers, right? And then so where you have a single rack pods or 4 rack pods and stuff like that. However, then we need to more closely discuss with these end customers and consumers about if NEPS is a requirement for Open19, if front I/O is definitely a requirement for Open19. As soon as we get more consolidated feedback, then we'll definitely bring back to the foundation.
So my next question is a little bit lighter. So Adam and Dolly, that you guys are involved more heavily for a longer time. Do you have a story which is something hilarious or something funny or something which happened during the development, the first build out, the first manufacturing, the first testing, or anything that relates to Open19?
Well, I have 2 stories, and one I can share publicly, and the other one after a few drinks later. That's more R-rated. So the first funny story was the early prototypes of Open19 were shipped somewhat loosely to trade shows under NDA with the blanket covered and so on. And a team asked me, so we shipped them with the servers installed, how to install them. I said, there is no wrong way of installing it, just shove it in and you're ready to go. And they did, and they actually put servers upside down. I was like, wow, that's, I guess, the only way you can screw up install of Open19, just put them upside down. So we came up with this great idea of putting Flex logo, so you can't put Flex logo upside down, so they know how to slide them right in.
Just to add to that, we had a little bit of a metal flange that even if you try to put it back upside down, you won't be able to do it.
I can't really think of any funny stories. It's all been very serious. But the funny thing I just found out, the three of us, the panelists, we know each other forever. That's awesome. And we are sitting here, we're talking to Yuval, and it's deja vu to me because Adam and Nielsen, they're both colleagues, friends, and competitors. And Open19 is making it possible for the three of us to sit together because we are collaborating. So to me, this is very funny.
That's awesome. So I'll end one, before Nelson, I'll add one story. So when we started the project, we were thinking about how to call it. The problem today is that if you pick a name and you want the .org or .net or .com, most of those names are gone. So you can't really get any one of those names. Open19 was not taken, but the Twitter handle of @Open19 was taken. And we were wondering, what's going on over here? It's like, there's nothing, not .com, .net, not anything Open19. So we actually reached out to Twitter and said, okay, who owns Open19 handle? And they said, we don't know, it's somebody in Russia. So we actually started investigating and actually found out that Open19, the handle @Open19 for Twitter actually belongs to some R-rated facility in Russia, which is giving services of Open19, if you can understand what that means. And we asked them to actually release the handle to us, and we even were willing to buy it from them. And they said, no, they said, this is our brand. We don't actually release that. So when you look at our handle at Twitter is actually Open19in, and not like Open19inch, and not just @Open19.
That reminds me of a funny story. Just 2 weeks ago, I got an email saying, hey, from UK, we have the Open19.com website for sale, and that's available. Would you like to buy it? I can cut you a deal. So I call up Yuval. Hey, Yuval, somebody wants to sell me the Open19.com website. Do you guys want to buy it? Does Open19 Foundation want to buy it? And Yuval said, no, we don't want this deal because we only want .org. So.
Yeah, they sent us the same email. They asked for about, I think, $30,000 or something like that for the Open19.com, and I said, sorry, we don't accommodate trolls.
Yeah, so ASUS has been a member of the foundation just recently for just a couple months, and then so we don't have a very funny story to tell, but I can tell you that it's been an honor for us to participate in the foundation, and the experience so far has been a fun experience, and we look forward to have a successful, funny story to share next time.
Absolutely. All right, so I have a couple more questions, but I want to open it up to the audience. Does somebody have any questions, either about the foundation or about the technology that the distinguished team over here on the stage is representing? Any questions? I know it's late, but if you have any questions, we're here to answer them. If not, I have more questions. Going once, going twice. I think it's late time. Maybe we should get some music in place, right? And basically run. Okay, so I'll ask for more questions. So if we look fast forward 18 months, and this community is actually a stable community, independent community, which is managed as a community, not managed as a monarchy, right? Where everybody contributes. What is your vision for actually being able to actually create that community and actually be able to sustain? And what do we need to do to sustain the ability for three different competitors to sit together and actually share concepts, ideas, etc. How do you actually maintain that amazing thing that we're able to achieve?
Sure, I can start. So I think for us being competitors and friends also, I think we should be able to buy and sell to each other. I think I think the first step I would take as a community member, not being selfish flex guy, but as a community member so everybody could benefit, because at the end the customer wants to buy and they choose who they want to buy from, and they might have something that they want to buy from Dolly, or they want to buy something from Nelson, they want to buy something from us, and not each one of us can offer every single solution the customer would want. So I think if we can collaborate and not be like some other groups that prevent each other from buying, the customer at the end will benefit, and we'll move a step closer versus us worrying about, constantly competing here. I don't have every solution, and I said that earlier on the stage that we use other OEMs, we integrate final integration, and the customer chooses that, so it's not us forcing it. And I think if we can all embrace it, everybody's better at something, I think we can move forward past that.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And also, I think that as community members, we need to improve the ecosystem for Open19 and make it easier for everyone who wants to adopt Open19 technology to be able to access the various components of Open19. And we will definitely need to work together and collaborate to do that.
Fantastic. So ASUS, being a recent new member and then a part of the community, we definitely want to make contributions. And I think what ASUS has been known with the market is that we have a very robust team of software, and then we look forward to integrate some of the software-defined solutions into Open19 hardware gear. Like, if we're talking about edge and telcos, and we have plans of porting Acreno, which is the OpenStack for telco, onto Open19 gear, and then that will give us another stronger push towards our strategy of selling this and then pushing this initiative towards the telco community. And then also, we also had some questions that Yuval actually today's event has given us that answer, was that when we're going out and then approach customer with these new design ideas, we're getting some questions and feedback. And then today we understand that we have a vehicle to give feedback, and then perhaps not necessarily contribution, but then comments and ideas back to the foundation. I think that's great.
Okay, so we're almost out of time, so another chance for question from the audience? No. So I want each and every one of you to actually summarize the day that we had today and summarize how you see the future coming and what you want to see in the coming year and what you want to see in the coming events that's coming.
Well, thanks you all for having us here, and thank you all for coming. What I like to see is broader adoption. I think all of us want to see this. We want to turn this into more community-led effort. We like to host meetups, and I'm in for bringing my competitors from Open19 to help us drive that initiative and establish this as a real building block, because if you have 5 companies building different Lego blocks, it'll never work. So you have to have that one body, which will be Open19 organization, overseeing it, making sure everybody plays together. And my bricks could be blue and hers could be red, but people need choice. So I like to see more of adoption from all different vendors, and I think that's going to just make this organization stronger, and it's going to propel this new idea further down the road, and everybody will be able to contribute and work it and benefit at the same time.
Yeah, for me, this year's Open19 is definitely larger than last year's Open19 Summit, and I see a lot more products on display from our competitor and friends. And there's a lot of different options out there now, and deployments are actually happening, so I think that is great. So what we need to do more is to promote Open19 adoption and try to have Open19 community integrate a little bit more into the other open hardware platform communities out there and leverage each other to promote open hardware initiatives and as well as open software initiatives. I think next year is going to be even bigger for Open19 Summit, and let's look forward to more adoption for next year.
And I feel the same, right? And then Open19 has been in existence for 2-3 years, and then for the progress made so far, I think we have already made an incredible history. And then thanks to the foundation and then everybody here's contribution, and then obviously we need to do a much better job in terms of promoting this idea. And then I think with ASUS being a new member, with our ASUS in America, our office is about 500, 600 people. We have a comprehensive global professional services. We're set here to bring this technology to the masses, and then we hope that we're able to come back with some fruitful results and then present to you all next year.
Okay, with that, I want to thank the esteemed panel that was on the stage with me today. Thank you very much. Let's give them a hand.